I love TF2. You, the person watching this, probably love TF2 since you clicked on this video, or you might have misclicked. Either way, please don't leave just yet. If you are or aren't aware, TF2 faces a serious and annoying bot problem. From aimbotters to mic spammers, these bots have made the game harder to play. As of now, the TF2 community is working together to try and solve this bot crisis with the hashtag #FixTF2. Now, I am not a TF2ber. The only TF2 related content I have here are just some update videos where I use the game as background footage, and from the title alone you could already tell I love to main scout. Anyway, I've taken a short break from TF2 to focus on videos for now, so I don't really feel qualified to make a video on a large scale like other TF2bers. So I'm not going to, but I still want to contribute in my own small way. This will just be a simple video where I talk about my TF2 journey as a scout, just to show how much TF2 means to me, and also a small story related to the bots that I shared before during the original Save TF2 hashtag. So sit back, relax, grab a snack or a drink, and come join me as I share a bit of my TF2 history. I started TF2 relatively late, roughly in 2021. What really got me into the game was kind of stupid now that I think about it. It wasn't SFMs, even though I watched some of them before even knowing they were from TF2. How I actually got into the game was from Starry Crow. Yes, that guy. For those of you who don't know, he's basically a god spy, who is arguably the worst class in the entire game. He's also known as an artist of certain stuff on a certain website, but I'm not here to talk about that. His YouTube videos were basically just montages of his skill in action, but with anime. And I like anime. But funnily enough, it wasn't the unique classes, fun gameplay, or diverse weapons that made me want to try TF2. It was actually the fact that I was able to add Lucky Star to his disguise kit. For context, modding was foreign to me as I was really poor back then, and only recently I got a laptop that could actually run games. I also absolutely love character customization, so the ability to basically add your favorite anime or character to your own weapon interested me. Plus, the game was free, so I thought I'd give it a shot. After I installed TF2, I went straight to work, designing my own custom sapper and disguise kit, just like Starry. And after a long process of learning how to implement your own textures into the game, I was overjoyed to see it actually work. But that feeling didn't last long, as I would soon find out it doesn't work on official Valve servers. And just like most new players, the community server tab looks too complicated, so I only stuck to the public servers. I then tried to follow in Starry's footsteps by using Spy in my first real game, but you probably already know how that went. After realizing how hard Spy was, I decided to try the other classes and see what they had to offer. And out of the 9 classes, Scout seemed to stand out the most, despite the fact that I lasted the shortest with him compared to the rest. His low HP and hit scan scattergun made him harder to use, especially since I didn't know anything about the map layouts, proper positioning, and other niches to use Scout effectively. So with no way to use custom textures in public servers, and basically sucking in general, I almost dropped the game. But I decided to give Scout another go again, and while I kept dying, I started to get used to it. I would last longer than usual and eventually be able to get some kills. Then one day I decided to check out the Manco store, and that's where I bought my first weapon, the Winger. I liked it because it looked like a plastic toy, and while it had less ammo, the extra damage and extra height when jumping more than made up for it. That's also when I found my first cosmetic item, the Flare. Even though I couldn't use mods, flares were essentially the official way to use my own personal images, so I bought it immediately. Then, that's when it hit me. I didn't have to use Spy, that's Starry's thing. I can just do the same anime montages, but with Scout. Afterwards, I used 2 Scout mains that I was following at the time as inspiration. Brickiest Brick was the meme Scout with his signature purple cosmetics, chill gameplay, and his green brick scattergun. Then there was JPEG, a godly scout who had more of a rebel look and his signature purple killstreak scattergun. So a funny scout and a cool scout. That's when I thought I could be the first ever weeb scout. Since I wasn't good as JPEG, I could do videos of Scout like Brickiest Brick while having an anime theme like Starry. After that, I went to the Steam Marketplace to find my signature. So I got myself a haircut with the Antarctic headwear, as not only did I love the design of the hair and the goggles, it was also only 80 cents. Then I got myself the thrilling tracksuit as I loved the scarf. And those two combined with my unique flare buttons, my look was complete, but I still needed a weapon. So while browsing an entire list of scatterguns, that's when I found the one for me. The Blue Mew scattergun. It literally had two of my favorite things all in one. And the black and gold accent along with the cat stickers basically made up a little for not being able to add mods since I also had the flare. As for my secondary, I used the kill streak kit on my original winger as it was my first, but the main pistol I would use is the Pretty Boy's pocket pistol as it was basically a crutch for me. With how terrible I am at scout, being able to heal back the damage helps a lot. Same goes with my third secondary, the Mad Milk. I love it for two reasons. One, because you can basically support your team as they can heal from it too or get put out when on fire. And the second is because I can make a Neko arc reference instead of the annoying overused joke. Then last but not least is my melee weapon. You might think it's the Fano War because it's Japanese, but you'd be half wrong. My melee of choice is my Neko no Ken, which is just a pretty machete, but it's been imbued by the power of crits and anime. With everything in hand, I made my debut. I'd say I'm an average scout main. I wouldn't switch to any other class no matter the situation, and I would always die after one kill. But there were a few exceptions. As a weeb scout, I played to have a good time and be a good teammate. So I stopped to fist bump friendlies, I don't take medkits since my team would need it more, and while waiting for a match, I would usually skate to the payload or play the bongos in the spawn room. All in all, I would consider myself the polar opposite to the scunt. Even so, I started to have my doubts. While yes, I was having fun, it didn't seem like it was going anywhere. I didn't feel like I was improving at all, always dying, and sometimes letting my team down to the point where I'd swap to engineer as it felt like I was contributing more due to sentries being overpowered. Soon, I found myself playing as medic and demo man, both of which would become my secondary mains, but each time I played, I kept thinking about scout, as if it was the role that I was destined to play, but it feels like I shouldn't. But then, I watched one video that changed my perspective on things. Lazy Purple's How It Feels to Play Scout. It's a really great video that highlights how Scout is, which you should check out if you haven't. But there was also a part in particular that hit the most. You probably know what it is if you watched it. It was probably just an anime reference or something, but that made me feel confident for some reason. The video mentions Scout's high skill ceiling and how even Lazy started off bad but took some time playing to eventually get good enough to play in competitive. And while I probably won't reach the level of skill as Brick, Starry, or JPEG, it reminded me of the whole point I started this journey as a weeb scout in the first place, which was just to have fun. In late 2021, there was a particular game in Badwater. I was on blue team, doing my best to push the cart and not get killed in the process. And that's when a very interesting player joined named Gel Botico, which I'll just shorten to Gel. So about a few minutes after Gel joined, he started typing in the chat that he was lagging. And then he realized it was because he was in our Tokyo server and Gel was a Canadian player. Despite this, we all welcomed him and he stayed and played. One person in particular was very nice to him and his name was Tsunami. Funnily enough, he was also our top scoring soldier. But even while dominating Red, the two of them got to talking and that's when Gel brought up how he probably got here. Turns out that he was jumping different games due to the bots. He had joined at least 5 different servers filled with bots in his region, then he somehow managed to join us. He then asked about our bot situation. Some shared their experiences, some bad and some not that bad, and I also did too. Despite the slight lag, he was still having fun playing in our botless server with normal human players. We ended up capping thanks to Tsunami carrying the whole team, but unfortunately as the next round started, Gel had to go. He only had a few hours to play and most of it was spent on finding this server. And he had to go to sleep soon as he still had school. But before he left, he wanted to at least take a picture first to commemorate this moment. So he called everyone to meet with him near the small hut place in Red Spawn. Only 3 of us listened and got there, so it was just me, Gel, Tsunami, and some random spy who probably snuck to the backline to get some cheeky backstab but chose to join us anyway. And that's when I took this picture. And it remains one of my most cherished TF2 screenshots. It was a nice experience to have, and it seems that the bot crisis was different for everyone. But even so, despite regions, we all bonded over our shared hatred and experience with the bots. Even now, in 2024, with the bot crisis getting even worse, we're still trying to have Valve fix TF2 by sharing our stories and our concerns. So TF2 might be old, but it's not outdated. The game still brings in new players every year, and has remained a gaming icon over the years due to the heart and soul of its community, with countless fan works being made to show their appreciation for such a beloved game. I doubt my video would help at all, but I still want to make it anyway to at least spread it even just a little. Because TF2 still means a lot to me, and probably to a lot of people as well. And you the viewer can still help. Please continue to spread the hashtag around, and if you can, sign the online petition which I'll link in the description below, so that we can hopefully get Valve's attention and finally fix TF2. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. This was kind of rushed due to taking a break from TF2 and not being aware of the movement until recently. I do want to make TF2 videos in the future as I have a lot of ideas for it, but for now it'll have to wait. And as for the bonus I promised, it's basically my first SFM. I tried my hand at making my own SFM around the time I started TF2, but gave up immediately due to my laptop not being able to handle it, which kinda sucks, but hey, at least I was able to make this one short clip. Please enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.
Where's the spy? What? Yes!